Hello, and welcome to SOAR Week 6. Yesterday, we were supposed to have a lunch presentation where we shared everything that we're doing with the other SOAR participants, but then my life was like, do you know what you need right now? A flat tire! And so I couldn't make it in for our presentation. But we're very lucky in that we are being able to go next week, so we'll let you know next week how our presentation goes.
This week we're responding to emails and surveys that the alumni have returned to us so far. So far we've gotten 6 back. We're excited about that, but we're hoping for many more. We've sent at least one interview, and we're working on setting up the others.
We're also coding old interviews that Dr. Shosh had conducted. So we have information from alums about the master's program here and their thoughts on action research in their classrooms as of about a year ago. These interviews are very old.
We've realized that we've been mentioning coding, but we haven't really actually shared any preliminary analysis with you. So we figured today would be a good day to do that. And we have a lot of data considering we now have 3 different methods of gathering information.
Mm-hmm. From coding the master's theses, which we did a couple weeks ago, like when we first started, we mentioned that we were doing that. We have found that a lot of the master's candidates, first of all, shared their reasons for teaching in the first place, and especially going through the master's program, they felt the need to push themselves and remember why they began teaching in the first place. And while they all had different reasons for getting into the field, a lot of the master's candidates wanted to remember why they were teachers. We also found that a lot of them shared that they had an appreciation for their content that they taught. This especially happened on the secondary level, where they teach this one thing and they want to instill this love of something that they enjoy with their students. And finally, a lot of the master's candidates shared that they wanted to find non-traditional teaching methods that they could use so that their classrooms could be more interesting and just tailored more toward their students.
Through coding the surveys that we've gotten so far, we found the Moravian Master's Program is working. Only one person has said that they don't really...
they don't want to talk about it.
Well, that too, but then there was the one person who said they don't entirely use action research. They still kind of use surveys, but they don't really conduct action research in their class anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But... for the most part, master's alums report positive experiences, which is good to hear. They also still use action research in their classrooms for the most part, except for the one person I mentioned, and have said that No Child Left Behind has little or no effect in their classrooms. People who said it didn't have any effect were people who taught subjects that it didn't really apply to, that No Child Left Behind hadn't really affected yet.
Or they've always taught under No Child Left Behind, so they don't know what it's like to not teach with it. So basically we're finding that No Child Left Behind either has little effect on the classroom or it has a negative effect on the classroom. No one has reported positive experiences under No Child Left Behind yet. And finally, from coding the interviews that have already been conducted, we found positive impact of the thesis. So the master's candidates are saying how useful going through the master's program and writing a thesis was to them to find a question in their own classroom and develop that question and research it. They found that was very helpful. They've also reported the importance of collaboration, whether that be here when they were conducting their master's thesis or out in the field teaching, to collaborate with other teachers. They find it's important to build the teaching community. They also said that the master's program here improved their teaching practice and that they are continuing action research now that they've completed their master's program here.
Like I said, we hope to get a lot more survey data soon, and we'll continue to code old interviews and schedule new ones. Next week we'll begin actually interviewing, which should be a fun new experience. So... that's all for this week.
Yeah.
See you next week.
See you next week.